Hey, welcome back. So everything is officially pretty dead right now. It's that time of year. This is actual winter, but we're actually really close to it being spring. And there's some stuff I gotta get done out here, and I figured I'd take you out here to my very sad looking grocery row gardens and show you what's going on, and you know, just do like a normal type of YouTube video that starts out with stock footage of a fountain. We had multiple frosts down into the low 20s. Now, somebody asked the other day, you can't grow bananas? Well, you can grow bananas like the trees, but they tend to freeze down to the ground and you don't get fruit unless you have a really sheltered location. This is not an ideal place for bananas. Down in the tropics, bananas do fantastically, but the amount of time it takes them to fruit and the susceptibility of their blooms to freezing off and destroying the fruit just makes them a poor option here. So we have to survive with other things, like our temperate trees. Pears, plums, peaches, that sort of thing. But those trees in these grocery row gardens have to be pruned regularly. That's part of the magic of the system. The maintenance of it as a series of edges requires pruning. And I love pruning, so we're going to prune. This is too tall. I don't want it to make apples up there. I've got a couple of options. I can bend it all sideways, which is kind of fun. Or I could prune it. Now I don't necessarily like that it's got this weird shape with these two right here. So I'm gonna take one of these off. And leave the other one. And now I can bend these sideways, which is sort of fun. I don't know if I could do that right now on camera because my wife left and she has the keys that open the workshop where I have the string. But you can imagine what it would look like if it was just all bent sideways. It's amazing. You'll have to watch and see that on a future video. This doesn't have a bad shape to it. This is another apple, but I want it smaller. Do we want to keep this new growth? Yeah, let's keep some of this new growth. We'll keep this little side one. Just take this whole sucker down. Are we afraid of doing this? No. We prune like psychopaths. That's better. Pretty good height, mid-chest. It'll grow out again. We'll prune it for control of vigor later. This is gonna make it grow like crazy in the spring, branch out. We'll pick the branches that we wanna keep, but I kinda like how it's all coming out sideways in this little bush, and that's what we wanna maintain. A bush-sized tree, not a gigantic tree. This is a mayhaw. This is a cool fruit, and I don't want it to be this massively tall. It's very thorny, so I have to be careful. I'll put it right there so my bare feet can step on it later. This one, you know what? Take that way down here. We don't need all this right through the middle. And I'll just take off some of the branches that go sideways towards the path. Get that height down. It's like trimming a hedge. Yeah, that's about right. Ow. This is a pear. We've got a branch that's kind of coming right through the middle there. We don't want that. I can bend some of these sideways if I want to. I might do that. I think I'll just bend it sideways and take that center right out. Get some cool looking sideways growth. Bend them over. Put them down right down the row. See that nice divide right there? Let it go right open through the center and we'll send it sideways. I've seen pears done this way. They look amazing. Huge branches going out to the side. Good way to control it because they have a lot of apical dominance. I have a plum here with some weirdly unbalanced growth. This strange thing off to the side. It's kind of leaning. I might pull it over. I'm going to take this growth out of here. That's definitely too far there. That's not bad. This is the time to graft if you're interested in grafting. I have a demonstration video on grafting where you can learn how to do some simple grafts. And plums you can graft nectarines and peaches and apricots and other things onto, which is really cool. Plum is sort of a universal rootstock for stone fruit, and I think you should try it. If you haven't tried it before, you'd be surprised what you can do with grafting. And I explain how to do it and why you should do it and demonstrate it on film, and you can lose your fear of grafting. I'll post a link. Here you can see what happens when you have free-range chickens. You do all this careful work, putting in lots and lots of mulch and throwing it around your trees, and they come and they strip it all off of the trees and kick the stuff out into the paths. Chickens are a pain in the neck, but they have their use. If you can put them to work doing something good with all of that energy, it's great. But free ranging them through the garden, I only really let them free range through here when it's kind of in between seasons. I mean, they can shred the mulch and throw it all over the place and make a mess out of it, but they can't really destroy that much because there's not much out here to destroy right now. They can go feed themselves, which is good, get all those extra minerals and cut down on our feed bill and be happy, but they don't do a ton of damage. But it's still kind of annoying to have them throwing the mulch all over. Just have to come out and rake the paths. Or we could just mulch everything completely, but they still manage to make the mulch move out of the stuff you want. It's like they have a sixth sense where they say, hey, you really wanted that mulch there? Guess what? That's exactly where we wanted to dig for bugs. So crazy. Speaking of chickens, recently I posted about a fighting cock game hen that I was traded along with some other stuff for some of my normal laying birds. A gentleman in our neighborhood came by and said, would you trade me for some chickens? And I said, sure. And so I traded him some birds. He traded me a few different birds, and he also brought me a couple of knives, a skinning knife and a pocket knife. And he said, oh, you like those old wheel hoes? I got one of those. I'll bring it over for you. This right here, I'm very excited about. It's got a break in the wheel that needs to be fixed, maybe with duct tape. But this is a perfect potato planting hoe. I can put other attachments on it too, but I'm gonna leave this one the dedicated potato plow. Let's take it out so I can show you how it works. It's really, really awesome, super effective. Super effective except for the wheel, which needs duct tape. Oh no! All right, it was super effective. Super. You just have to pick it up and plow with it like this. Look at that. Look at that, beautiful. It's amazing. Oh yeah. Cool. Okay, there you go. We just kind of dig it in. Dig that puppy. Dig that puppy. All right, that's enough of that. It really is hard to beat those vintage tools. This is the Mix Up Everything garden. That's mostly lentils and chickpeas. They got through the frosts okay. But there's some brassicas in there, and I'm sure some onions and other stuff. And as it warms up, it ought to get even more interesting. Just a big carpet of green right now. At least we know we're fixing nitrogen. The Brussels sprouts did not die. They had a little damage from the frost, but I think they're going to live just fine, and maybe we'll actually get some this year. They're not ideally suited to this climate. We're also getting some carrots in these little beds here. Those are looking decent. We have pulled some and eaten them, little baby carrots, about the size of your pinky. And they're very sweet, very delicious, a lot of nutrients in there. The freezes did not kill our little landrace pak choi, which I'm going to save seeds from. I'm calling it a landrace because it planted itself, and it's going to turn into a landrace. That's the goal. These guys came from ones that went to seed last year, and then they grew nice big thick leaves, and I left them to their own devices. There's another one over here. Hopefully they're cross-pollinating, and we'll get lots of amazing seeds off them. I mean, we'll get enough to plant a field, but these two in particular did really well on their own, and they pretty much grew themselves and self-seeded, so we'll save seeds from them and let them be the basis of our pak choi in the future. And we'll keep adding other pak choi in, but we know that these are really scrappy. Out of all the seeds that fell, these did really well. Some of them were real shrimpy. Those got chopped down. These great big ones that didn't bolt quickly, these stay. This char here has been soaking for a while. If you saw my last video on the biochar, you saw how we made it in the giant trench. We're just gonna throw it over this entire area here and turn it under. It's been soaking now for 2.5 weeks or more. The really important thing is just to make sure that you've got enough nitrogen in it so it doesn't soak up nitrogen from the ground when you put it out. But this area right here where we had our row gardens, they did well on those alfalfa pellets, but with this char in here, I think it's going to be really amazing. And it's been kind of a chilly late winter. Like, it was warm in December and the broccoli all bolted and things just started falling apart on us, and we harvested everything before the really brutal frosts came in January. But I'm thinking that it means that the spring is going to be coming a little later because the winter came later. That's what my neighbor told me, so I'm going to just go with that. It makes total sense to me. But this area right here, I want to really improve it because it did well already despite the bad soil with some of that Solomon's Gold mix and with the alfalfa, and previously this was the pumpkin patch. So we'll rotate it through and we'll probably put potatoes in here. And I think with the biochar, the potatoes are really gonna like it. I'm kind of excited to see how it turns out. We had limited biochar experiments this last year, but this year it's going to be bigger and better. And I still have a gigantic pile of brush we've got to burn and burn and burn and soak and soak and soak. So I've got to throw this around and empty it so I can put the next load of charcoal in it to soak. And I might even have to get some more troughs or something. It'd be really cool to just have a swimming pool filled with some swamp water. I actually, in the video, you could see I threw Dynagro in here for all the minerals. It's just straight minerals. And I also put in the worm tea, or my daughter did. So those two things were really good. But additionally to that, we butchered a bunch of chickens, and I had a bucket to catch the chicken juice that comes out of them when you butcher them. And I threw that in here too, so it's like having some blood meal, real high nitrogen. And it smells like chicken. So you can see this time of year, everything just looks dead. Those of you up north understand what it's like. Those of you down in South Florida, God bless you. You sweet summer children. So, grocery rows, I mean, it's like, they were so crazy abundant earlier in the year, and now here they go. But we are very, very close. And this year I'm going to do some experiments too with planting by the Farmer's Almanac and the moon cycles. That ought to be kind of interesting. Never really did that before much. They swore by it down in the Caribbean. So we're going to do some of that. I just wanted to show you what things look like and some of the stuff we're working on right now. I appreciate you joining me. It's really kind of exciting. Spring is getting here. I've got seeds just waiting. We've got some flats just getting started in the greenhouse. It all looks bare and empty right now, but in a few months, it's going to be incredible. And of course, I'll bring you with me. Catch you all later. Be sure to check out the Grocery Road Gardening book if you haven't seen it yet, and the new book from Steve Solomon, Water-Wise Gardening, which is really, really helpful. Gardening with and without irrigation. I'll put links below. Catch you next time, and until then, may your thumbs always be green. That's just weird, isn't it? Yeah, that's kind of cool. Just focuses right on my thumb. Green thumb. Thumbs up the video. Thumb.
Yo, 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 you gotta prune your plants. Gotta fight that apical dominance. Yo, 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 you gotta prune your plants. Gotta fight that apical dominance. Yo, 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 you gotta prune your plants.